All right, everybody, we're going to start just a couple minutes, giving people a chance to get on, and we'll begin shortly.
Hey, Ian, you have no video feed there.
I see me.
You're good now.
Fantastic. All right, everybody, welcome. 14-day challenge, day 8. Halfway through, got a couple of minutes and we'll get started, just letting everybody get on. So get on, and we'll get started shortly. All right. Just another minute. We'll get started. Thanks for being on. Let's shift this a little bit here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for being on. It is the 14-day challenge, day 8. You are halfway through. We got momentum for the middle, baby. Momentum for the middle. And this challenge is about doing 14 days consecutively of personal development, personal growth, leadership development, getting your mind right, getting your heart right, taking massive action, growing when everybody else is shrinking, taking bold action when everybody else is afraid, and going out there and grabbing up a bunch of online real estate, moving your business online, moving your skill set online, starting to create a brand, an identity, and a message around your model, whatever that model might be. And I'm having so much fun with you guys. I mean, it's really been a pleasure being with you in the Q&A group after the fact. Man, yesterday night, I think we had the best questions that we've had the entire time. They've all been good, but I think we've had the best questions the entire time last night. I think people are getting an enormous amount of value, and I'm getting an enormous amount of value just bringing this information to you. You know what? I think leaders thrive in times of controversy. Leaders thrive in times of controversy. And we've just got to remember that the true measure of a leader is not in times of great prosperity, but rather in times of great challenge, great controversy, and great disruption. And that's what this is about, is how do you elevate yourself? How do you stand out in a world that's trying to fit in? And man, being consistent, being emotionally postured. We talked a lot about posture, and we're going to use that today in getting massive on Messenger. It was a prerequisite to Messenger, because if you're going to get out there and get in the trenches with people, you're going to get messy, and you're going to get messy and massive in Messenger. And so I wanted to teach you that, because you're going to see all sorts of response I'm super excited about tonight. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to give you so much great information. I hope you are ready and taking notes, because great minds think on paper. I'm a huge note taker, and I believe that something special happens in the act of writing. Some sort of internal dialogue that goes on from hearing to getting your brain to tell your hand to write something solidifies, crystallizes the message. You should always be taking notes. I'm a massive note taker, and then I retake them. I like to condense notes. So I take a large amount of notes up front. I reread those notes, and I condense them down into the main actionable points, or the real meat that I had to connect on. And through that process, I've heard it once, I've written it again. I've now had 3 exposures where everybody else has only had 1. How are you going to compete with me in terms of being able to take the information you heard, utilize it, apply it, synthesize it into something new? When I've heard it 3 times, you've only heard it once. And in fact, I heard the most important things 3 times. I narrowed it down every single time. Hey, we've been getting a lot of questions about, what sort of ring light does Ian have? And the answer is I use a 14-inch ring light most of the time. That's what I'm on now. And a 14-inch is really optimal. Anything smaller than a 14, you can have some serious trouble lighting yourself, especially if you're far away. So I just want to kind of show you, like, I'm on an ultra low setting here because it's dark, okay? But just like take a look at this here real quick, okay? So I can turn this thing. Oh, it's like looking into an airline, and no matter what you do, right? You can't see anything. So this thing, I'm operating on extreme low power right now. But if you have something smaller than that, you're going to run into some power issues, some lighting issues. This thing is really pretty industrial. What brand? I couldn't tell you. Ask Jess. And I don't really think the brand matters, okay? But it's right around $100 or so. 14-inch. You can put your phone or whatever you have, your iPad, right in the middle, and that is really the best option if you want to get serious about having great lighting. So we had a ton of questions about that, so I thought I'd address it. So let's talk tonight about getting massive on Messenger. So I want you to understand here, no matter what sort of business you're running, what I'm going to teach you is going to work incredibly well. Now, most of you won't do this because this is tedious. And in the beginning, you're going to do it yourself. As you get more and more affluent and your business systems get more and more profitable, this is something that I would immediately hire out to people. Okay, but I wouldn't do that now. I would get used to it, understand it, have a couple of rounds of using it so that you can teach it, because you don't ever want to give somebody control of your social media. I control almost all of my social media, not all of it, but almost all of it. And, it's your brand, it's your name out there. You don't really want to be giving that to some, $10 an hour guy out there, mess with your brand that could be seen forever, right? Okay, but once you get the hang of this down, Messenger can be delegated. Messenger can be a little tedious, but in my opinion, is one of the greatest ways to start monetizing a brand or engaging people in your current brand. Okay, and so you have to understand this. Messenger allows a personalized and directed communication, which is of a much higher relational value and a much higher interaction value. And so you need to understand, when you're going live, and we've talked about going live to change lives, you all are still going live every day for 14 days and hopefully every day after that. Okay, but when you're going live, you're really in a broadcast mode. So you're broadcasting a message. Broadcasting is what happens when it's a one-way communication pool. You're communicating out there. People can receive and engage with you back. Okay, but it's really a broadcast format. Messenger is really about personalized interaction if you do it right. Personalized interaction in a digital world, in my opinion, is one of the highest forms of value that you're ever going to have. And yet most people don't have a good system or approach with Messenger. So let me give you some of the prerequisites. Okay, we talked a little bit about this in one of the Q&As, but you got to understand the difference between hunting and farming. Okay, so in business, there's hunting and there's farming. So I want you to think about a traditional large-scale business. They're doing a lot of advertisement out there. You walk into their brick and mortar, you walk up to the counter, you place an order. And the people there are not salespeople, they're order takers. They're not highly compensated, they're lowly compensated. And the reason for that is that they're a part of the farming system, okay? And they are just harvesters. They're not actually paying for the land, they're not sowing the seed, they're not watering it. They're just out there harvesting what the farmer has done, right? And so there's a minimal value created to them. And so most large scale traditional businesses are in the farming business. What does that mean? They're sowing a lot of seed out there, okay? They're nurturing the seed through repeat messaging, through building interaction with them, and then they harvest the percentage of the crop that grows. So that's like a McDonald's or a car company or Apple. Okay, you walk into Apple's people are not, they'll sell you something, but you're going online or going to Apple Store and getting this stuff because Apple has spent $1 trillion creating a brand, creating an image, and mass marketing to you so that you want their things. Okay, That's called farming. Farming is not hunting after individual transactions, but creating a lot of value in the marketplace, nurturing relationships through large numbers of potential consumers, and then harvesting the percentage that are ready to do business with you when they're ready to do business with you. Okay. So live marketing like Facebook Lives, that's really a farming mechanism. What are you doing? You're getting your message out there, you're watering the seed every day with the message. And eventually, when people are ready to get involved with you, whatever your business is, they're going to reach out to you. You're not necessarily going to reach out to them. Okay. So going live primarily is a farming process. Messenger is a hybrid between farming and hunting. Okay. So hunting is going out there and making it happen. That would be like direct sales. That would be a realtor, any sort of salesperson that's going out and making sales calls. That's how they get their clients, as they call on people. That is hunting. Okay. And hunting is generally quick turnaround, transaction based, and you need to be doing both. Okay. Why? Because farming is very, very expensive for the most part. It's either expensive in money to create the advertisement and distribution, or it's expensive in time to create it, right? Like going live doesn't cost you any money, but it will take you time to build that following to farm, right? Okay. Hunting is not expensive. It's a skill set that you go out there and do. And what I love about Messenger is a bit of both. It is farming. It allows you to have a touch with people that may not be transaction related, that may allow you a little bit more personal interaction than going live. It definitely has, on the receiving end, a feel that is much more personable than watching a broadcast. Okay. So there's a bit of both. Okay. It's interacting versus broadcasting. Okay. It is a mixture of harvesting and cultivating. Okay. So what I'm going to teach you on Messenger is sometimes you're going to go on with very specific asks or harvest attempts. And sometimes you're going to go on and cultivate. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I love watching your stuff. Have a great day. Okay, you see that, right? So a specific ask would be what? Like a harvest, and a non-specific ask might be a cultivation. Okay, it also allows you to really master fishing the same pond. A lot of people, if they're in network marketing, they'll talk to their circle of influence. They'll get through that and they'll think, well, I don't have anybody to talk to. And what I learned early on is then you just go back to the people you talk to first and you circle back. Why? Because they are the same people, kind of. You are the same person, kind of. Your opportunity is the same opportunity, kind of. The situation in the world is the same, kind of. And today it's totally different, right? Okay. If I was in some sort of network marketing business right now, okay, or any form of opportunity business, I would be revisiting all of that, because just because they said no, not interested, or didn't respond in the past has nothing to do with how they feel now because of what's happening out there. But what it allows you to do is fish the same pond, because if you've ever been fishing and you went out to a great place, somebody recommended it, you're fishing all night, you don't catch anything. It's easy to think, well, there's no fish in there. The problem is that's just not true. There were fish. They just either weren't biting then, they weren't biting what you were throwing in, or you needed some better skill of where to go and fish. But just because you didn't get any bites the first time you fish doesn't mean there's no fish in the lake, does not mean that other people won't catch the fish, right? Does that make sense? And so Messenger allows you to remarket personally up to 5,000 people. And then if you want to get, into the weird land of, trying to message people you don't know or not friends with, you can do that as well. I'm not a big fan of that, but you can do that. Okay. So it's really usable for any business, no matter what you're doing, a personal touch. Let's say you owned a car dealership. Okay. And you've got advertisement out there and you've got all sorts of things going on. Okay. Listen, your personal brand and your personal influence on those 5,000 friends, if you market that correctly through Messenger, you would do a half a dozen or a dozen deals a month yourself. Okay. And as a car dealer at a couple of grand a pop, that's 15, 20, 30 G's a month coming in off of your own Facebook marketing platform that costs you zero. Okay. So if you're in a car business, you think maybe you own a restaurant and you're like, man, listen, this is just public facing. I don't need to be personally involved in marketing. I think you're wrong. I think you do need to be personally involved in marketing it, because it's the cheapest form of marketing you'll ever have. And one of the highest value forms of marketing. So you can use this for any form of business you want. Okay. So again, there's really going to be two sorts of worlds of messages that you're going to send out on Messenger. So obviously Messenger is a private conversation. Okay. So you're not posting publicly. So this allows you to make either direct asks or indirect asks. Okay. So that's one world, direct and indirect asks. I'm asking for a call to action. The second is a cultivation message, right? Where you're just building people up. You're telling them, hey, Steve, man, I was just thinking about you. I love seeing what you're doing online. We should connect more at some point in the future. Have a great day, right? And you're just cultivating. And then what you're doing is copy, paste, copy, paste. Now make sure you don't send, hey, Steve, to Martha, Susan, and Jim, okay? So you got to pay attention, okay? But what I like to do is I like a copy and paste. I create a template. We'll go through a couple of examples of templates tonight, and then your homework tonight for the 14-day challenge is to create a template. Okay, one template that is cultivating and one template that is asking, okay, for Messenger for your business, whatever your business might be. Okay, so we're going to do that tonight, and then we're going to start messaging tomorrow. Okay, so that's going to be your homework tonight for the 14-day challenge. Okay, so let's talk about a direct ask. Let's use the car dealer again, for example. A direct ask might be this. We're looking for Jeep Wranglers right now. We're running low on stock. We're offering, above market value. Do you or does anybody have a Wrangler they might be interested in selling if the price was right? ? That is a direct ask. Okay, right? Does that make sense? Here's what I'm looking for. Can you or somebody else help me with this? Okay, that's a direct ask. An indirect ask might be something like this. For example, you're in a recruiting business of some sort. You write out a messenger, hey, Steve, things are pretty crazy out there, man. I know it's getting pretty bad. I hope you're good. Hey, listen, the reason I'm reaching out to you, I'm sure you're good, but you probably will know some people whose incomes have been affected by the shutdown. I have an opportunity to do A, B, C, D. If you wouldn't mind passing my info along to those people, that would be a great help. Appreciate any direction you might be able to give me. Thanks, right? And so that's an indirect approach. I'm not coming for you. I'm not asking you for something. I'm saying, hey, if you know some people that fit X, Y, Z, maybe you're a realtor. Hey, Steve, listen, I know, you're probably really happy where you are. You haven't even given any thought to selling your home. But believe it or not, it's actually still a seller's market. And if you know anybody that, is thrown around the idea or maybe needing to move for work, here's my contact info. Feel free to share that. And, let me know if I can ever help you. Thanks so much. Bye. Right. And so you're making an ask to do something. Share this with somebody, come like my page. That's another example. You start your business page, right? Hey, Steve, hope you're doing well. Things are crazy out there. Hey, man, listen, if you get a chance, I started a business page. I'm really excited about it. Do me a favor and pop on and like it. Or maybe you could share this with somebody that, you think would benefit. Okay. And that might be an indirect ask or direct ask, depending on if you're going after them or asking them to share. So you've got direct asks, indirect asks, and then cultivation, right? Those are the two worlds that you can be in, asks and cultivation. So let's talk about the structure of an appropriate Facebook message on Messenger. It needs to be short. If it is more than a medium paragraph, okay, if it is more than a medium paragraph long, nobody's going to read it because it looks like spam. There's no way you're going to write out 4 pages of stuff, okay? So it needs to be short, concise, and to the point, okay? So short, medium paragraph at the absolute longest, okay? It needs to have their name right away. Steve, exclamation point, right? Hey, Jill, exclamation point. Okay, why? Because a bot generally is not going to have their name, okay? Most people don't have software that is that sophisticated, okay? And so by using their name, by default, you almost always get them to read the message. If you do not use their name, they're not going to read the message. Okay. If you use their name, fantastic. You should have one sentence of small talk. That small talk might be, man, it's pretty crazy out there right now, huh? It might be, hey, I know we haven't connected in a while. Looks like your family's doing great. It might be, hey, I hope you're well. It could be any number of things, but hey, name, small talk, one sentence, and then a linker. Hey, the reason for the message. Okay, so that's your linker, that's your transition. You don't want to be small talking a bunch of people, and you don't want to get into things that are very person specific, because Messenger is about volume and speed. It's about contacting a lot of people in a short amount of time. And so if you're copying and pasting, you need to be able to put the name in, name in, name in, send, name in, send, name in, send. And that way you can do 50 or 100 messages in 10 minutes, right? Okay. So name, okay, small talk, linker, the reason why I'm messaging, and then the body. And that body is either going to be what? It's going to be a direct ask, an indirect ask, or it's going to be a cultivation. Okay. What I would recommend that you do for your first one, I know we're going to write out a cultivation script and an ask script, but what I would do for the first one is I would make some asks. The reason that you're going to make some asks is, if you send out 100 messages a day, maybe 50 in the morning, 50 at night. Okay. If you send out 100 messages a day, and sometimes Facebook has different limits on it. Okay. You can do this on Instagram as well. So let's just say you were doing 100 a day. If you had 5,000 friends in 50 days, you would get through messaging 100% of the people that you're friends with. Okay. That is almost 2 months. It would take you 2 months to circle back around to get to person one again. Okay. So it's about reaching a large amount of people and then taking some low hanging, interactive, friendly reactions. Okay. So you need to understand this about Messenger. Messenger is a low percentage, high value ball game. What does that mean? If you send 100 messages with a specific ask, depending on what that ask is, okay, the larger the ask, the fewer the responses. The smaller the ask, the more the responses. But you're going to get roughly 50% of the people who simply will not respond to you at all. Okay. Obviously, the bigger that ask is, the higher that non-response rate gets. People just ignore it. No problem. We're not getting our feelings hurt. Our emotional posture is strong, right? We're not getting all bent out of shape about it. Okay. So 50 to 60% are not going to respond. About 15 or 20% are going to respond and say, sure, if I know somebody, I'll pass it along. Or, hey, I'm not interested right now, but thanks for saying hi. Okay. 10 or 15% will respond with some sort of affirmative yes, no. Okay. What do you need to do at that point? Okay. So if you get somebody that's interested, what is your plan? Okay. So we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. What is your plan to help them take the next step? All right. So you've got your linker, the reason why, and then you've got your message. You're either giving a direct message to them, right? A direct ask, or you're going to what? You're going to cultivate that relationship. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to send these. I like to send them at night. The reason I like to send them at night is generally people, who are up late, they've got really nothing else to do. They're going to be getting those. And while I'm sleeping, my message is out there working, right? Does that make sense? So I spend 20 minutes at night sending out a bunch of messengers, right? And in the morning, I wake up and there's inboxes coming in. Now, again, on 100, I might only get 10 that are remotely interesting. Of those 10, I might only have 5 that I want to pursue further. But 5 a day, every day, that whatever you're dealing with, whatever your business is, no matter how big or small it is, 5 people that are interested in learning more about whatever it is you're doing is very, very useful, right? Okay, so I like to send them out in the night. So that when I wake up in the morning and throughout the day, those messages start coming in. And so that's my habit. If you want to do morning and night to superstart it, right? It is Massive Action Monday. Then do morning and night. No problem. You can always do more. Just don't do less, okay? But you want to understand that that's going to be the process. So let me give you a couple of examples of some scripting that you might have, okay? So maybe you're a mortgage guy and the markets are a little in turmoil right now. You might send a messenger that says, hey, Ian, long time no see. I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, listen, I don't know if you've thought about a cash out refi, but a lot of my clients right now are taking the equity they have in their homes and buying into the markets at a 30% discount. If you or somebody you know has ever thought about that or feel like they might be in a position to do that, I'm always happy to talk to them. Again, it's always free of charge. Feel free to share this with somebody or reach out to me if you're interested. Have a great night. Thanks for your time, Ian. Boom. Right? So what was that? That was a direct ask, okay, with a little tinge of indirect as somebody you might know, okay, at the end, but that was primarily a direct ask. And what was I doing? I was educating, I was providing value, which we're always going to provide value in any form of a messenger. We're not just trying to take something, we're giving value and asking for a response, right? Think about if you were a realtor, okay? If you were a realtor, you might say, hey, hey, Ian, hope your family's good and you're staying safe out there. Listen, the reason for my message, a lot of people don't know this, but right now there's an opportunity in the ABC market, whatever that market might be. And I thought maybe you would know people that may benefit from getting some information there. Feel free to forward this along or maybe to recommend that to somebody. And I appreciate your time. Da, 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 da. So that might have been an indirect message. Okay. Think about if you're in a recruiting business. Okay. If you're in a recruiting business of any sort, it might be, hey, Ian, things are pretty crazy out there right now. Hey, listen, the reason for my message, I'm sure you're probably okay and you aren't looking for anything else. Okay. But I'm sure you probably know some people whose incomes have been affected by the shutdown. And we've got some, work from home or work online opportunities. And feel free to share my info with anybody who might have been affected. Thanks so much in advance. By the way, if you personally have any interest, I'm always happy to talk. Feel free to shoot me a message. Appreciate you. Bye. Right? Okay. Maybe you're a pastor. Maybe you're a pastor and you just send out there and say, hey, Steve, it's been a long time. I hope you're well. Hey, the reason for my message, there's a lot of people that are hurting out there right now. There's a lot of people that are confused. And, we're offering some free programs where people can, get on a live Zoom and maybe ask some of the tough questions in life right now or deal with some of the struggles. I'm sure you're probably fine, but you probably know some people that could really benefit from talking to somebody right now. I just wanted to pass it along to you and let you know in case you knew somebody that would benefit. So notice basically in every message, you're offering help and value, not a pitch. Now, here's why you should do this, and here's why you should do it now. Nobody wants to be pitched. Hey, here's something that might help somebody you know. Here's something that could be of value to you. Here's an opportunity for people that might be hurting right now in this area. You're always offering help and value, not a pitch, okay? So you want to use calm, assertive language. You don't want to be real gregarious on that. Oh my gosh, the greatest thing, because it sounds like a pitch. You want to be very conversational, okay? So you want to use calm and assertive language. You should be sending a minimum of about 50 a day, understanding that you're going to have a 10% reply back rate, probably at best. So it's a law of large numbers. You always need to tell people in the message how you want them to react. Hey, if you could share this with somebody, that'd be fantastic. If you know anybody that you could refer to me, that would be a huge help. Thanks in advance. If you're interested in this, I'd love to chat with you. Feel free to message me back. Okay. So you're always going to give them a call to action of some sort on the ask. If you're cultivating, there's no call to action. It's just a, hey, was thinking about you, was praying for you. Now, obviously, if you're not praying for them, don't send that. Okay. You won't be lying about that stuff. Okay. But that ain't a bad thing to be praying for the people you send messages to every day, that nobody's soul is going to get hurt by that. And end with a question. This is really powerful. So, hey, feel free to send this to somebody you might, think you might have some benefit with. Appreciate your time. Hey, by the way, what do you feel about this? Or, any ideas? right? That's one I like all the time. Hey, if you know anybody, I'd really love to connect with them. I appreciate your help in advance. Any ideas? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Anybody come to mind? Question mark, question mark, question mark. You know, how do you feel about this? Question mark, question mark. When you ask a question, you're far more likely to get a response, right? Okay. You need to answer the messages. I know that kind of goes without saying, but you need to be answering the messages. Okay. And your job is to engage them, and get them off a messenger. You either need to direct them online to a video, to a link, to something to move them in the buying process, whatever it is you're selling, or you need to move them offline onto a phone call for whatever you might be selling or recruiting for, or whatever that might be. You don't want to stay online. The reason you don't want to stay online is they're not going to do a transaction of any sort from Messenger. Okay, that's not going to happen. So you need to move them from Messenger. So the messenger is the point of contact. Okay, the engagement and the pivot. You're going to pivot from Messenger either to an online resource or an in-person resource. Okay, so you need to answer the message. We're going to probably have to go over in the next session on this. Okay. But here's the deal. You've got to have a plan for the positive responses. What's the next step? What are you asking to do? It might be, oh, hey, you know what? I'm interested in that. Hey, fantastic. What's your cell? I'll give you a buzz when I have a moment later today. By the way, here's mine. It might be, oh, that's fantastic. Hey, do me a favor, check out this link and shoot me a message with your thoughts after you see it. Okay. It might be, oh, perfect. If you wouldn't mind, maybe shoot their info to me, and I'd love to follow up with them. You need to have a plan for the positive responses to move them into the funnel of your process. You need to have a plan and a posture for negative responses. Whenever you send a large amount of anything to a large amount of people, you are going to have people that don't like that you've messaged them, which is bizarre because they're your friend, okay? But they're going to have people that do not like that you message them for any reason. They don't like that you message them. They don't like the content of your message. They don't like what you're saying. They don't like what you're asking. You're going to experience that's part of the law of large numbers. And so we're here. Let me give you some no-nos, okay? And we'll talk about this more tomorrow night. You never, ever, ever get in a conflict with somebody over Messenger. Why? Because they have a log of that, and so do you. And I've seen it. I have seen Messenger conversations go south that somebody ends up screenshotting and putting you on blast, and it ain't pretty. You never, ever engage in a negative conversation or get into a conflict over Messenger. You posture up. And how do you posture up? You just say, hey, man, I'm really sorry you feel like that. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Thanks again. And you'll leave it at that. No matter what they say, you never engage them. You're the worst person ever. How dare you offer that to me? Don't you know it's a pandemic? How could you talk to me about selling my house right now? Hey, listen, I'm so sorry. Have a great day. Boom. And move along. You don't engage, okay? You never, 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 never engage online with something that somebody could reproduce, screenshot, and send out there. You always disarm, and you do that through posture. Hurting people hurt people. We're not going to defend ourselves. We're not going to explain ourselves. We're not going to do anything. When people come off the reservation a little crazy, we're just going to realize, hey, this is not the place, and we're going to move along. So listen, tomorrow night, more on getting massive on Messenger. But tonight, your homework is you're going to write out a script for a cultivating message and an ask message. And tomorrow, we're going to start sending those out, and we're going to have a plan. What are we going to do with the positives? And we're going to be prepared for the little bit of negative that you're going to get. If you're going to do anything special, you're going to have critics. We talked about that before in posture. And so I needed to make sure you had that prior to you getting out there, because I didn't want you getting killed out here. Hey guys, 14-day challenge, day 8 in the books. See you tomorrow night for day 9. More on getting massive on Messenger. And we're going to start talking about how do you identify opportunity in this incredible market that's going on. There's a lot of pain and there's a lot of opportunity. I'm going to talk to you about how do you identify it? How do you capitalize on it? It's going to be fantastic. See you tomorrow.